Okay, here's another character that I overlooked somehow. This is my guts. Keep in mind, I've been working on these characters for years, but it's been pretty much off and on. I don't get paid to post these videos for you guys, so first and foremost, saying that with the utmost respect. So I don't feel obligated to show you guys every little thing that I'm doing for this program. Also, the support's not that great, so yeah, it's just a hobby, and I know there's actually quite a few of you guys who show love to some of my work, and you don't go unnoticed. So I try my best to post stuff, but I'm just gonna toggle through my palettes here for my guts, which is something for some weird reason I just never attempted to do. So first up, this is my blue palette. This pays homage to fan art. Basically, when I do a quick Google search of guts, I see a lot of people attempting to color the actual black and white manga work, and this is usually the interpretation they have. Very bright blues, um, off whites, and a slightly darker tinge for skin. So yeah, it's just showing respect to the people who what people envision fan art wise. Next up is of course is a white palette. I was just curious what would guts look like with white armor. So of course I made him a white knight, and it looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. Personal palette doesn't really. Okay, a lot of you guys are gonna try to refer to Griffith if you're familiar with the actual franchise itself, but no, it's not paying homage to Griffith. It's not the White Hawk or anything like that. It's just I want to see guts in white armor, and it looks cool. Next up, of course, is the red and black palette. Tough guys like red, so of course I made a red and black palette for guts. I don't know why people love this color scheme, but I don't know. I just went for it. So yeah, there's your red and black. Next up is my gritty palette. I call it the gritty palette because it's a very dark, colorless palette. It makes his skin very pale and kind of undead looking. Personally, I love this one. This is a I can't say it's a personal palette. I'm sure someone has used this palette or attempted to create it via fan art. But this is just a cool interpretation of what I think Guts should look like. Sure, Guts is an Asian. Asians have pigment, so his skin would be slightly orange or yellowish. But I think the pale skin tone really pays homage to vampires. Looks very vampiric to me. So yeah, it's just a personal gritty palette. Next up, of course, is my green palette or my money palette. Every character in my roster is going to have a money palette. I chose to make his skin black for this palette. It just looks really cool. I love the contrast of the brown and green. This palette is gorgeous, man. And again, every character is gonna have one just to match for teams. Next up is a purple palette. Someone asked me to make a purple palette. I don't know why. I'm not sure what your train of thought was, but someone requested it, so I just did it. And I don't know, it doesn't look bad to me. I think it's pretty neat to see him in a purple armor, but I don't think it's something Guts would wear personally. But it looks cool. Looks cool. All right, this is my second gritty palette, but this one I titled in the act file the manga palette. This is what I think he looks like, or what he should look like, if colored. Actually, it pays homage to animated movies and a lot of the content that's out already for Berserk in general, and it's pretty accurate. It as you can see, it still sports blues. It's a very light, unnoticeable tinge of blue in the armor, but the armor's not just flat gray, and his skin tone's a lot brighter and more, he looks more oriental. And I gotta say that the palette's pretty flawless, and it looks really good in game. Next up, this is of course a personal palette. I simply just darken everything. You can call it the emo palette if you want. That's essentially what it is. It's just an all black, as dark as I can get the character palette. I changed all of his white material to a dark brown. Really, it's supposed to mimic leather. I was just curious what would guts look like with leather instead of tattered, torn material. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. Very dark. Very cool looking. And of course, my default palette. I showcase the default palette, or I'm going to try and showcase the default palette for every one of my palette videos. so you guys can see what I start with. And this is basically the sprite that I input to Fighter Factory before I color it. And yeah, as you can see, I didn't try to mix it up because it's Guts, and Guts is gonna always look like Guts, so I try not to avoid that. And yeah, that's all my palettes, man. For those of you who are interested, I know my best friend is interested. He's the person I'm making this for. So there you go, bro. For everybody else, hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you recognize and respect the differences in my palettes. And again, the goal of my palettes isn't to change the character to something it's not. The goal is to still be the character, but be a cool twist on it. And there's maybe 5 or 6 other palettes that I haven't queued into Fighter Factory, which is of course my silhouette palette, my manga or my black and white palette, and 3 others. But those are used for other purposes and not really for in-game play. So yeah, be safe. Talk to you later. Deuces.